Hello there, everyone. I got a little something different for you guys today, and hopefully this becomes a thing throughout the future. And well, we'll see what happens. Anyways, if you haven't known by now, buying from Copart has been a thing that the cool kids on YouTube have been doing now for the last about 2 years now. You buy up a wrecked insurance vehicle and fix it, and flip it or whatever. Well, anyways, actually, I had done this part of the video before, and now I'm completely redoing it because not only did I buy one, but if the thumbnail and the title of this video, once it gets posted, is an indication, I ended up buying two for my first time. And I had no intention of doing that, but I will explain that. In fact, I had planned on, for the original video, to be all one video from start to finish, buying the vehicle, well, showing the vehicle I bought, and fixing it and selling it and have all the numbers for you and the whole experience and blah 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 blah. Well, now this will be probably a separate video and we'll go from there. I think the first vehicle will still probably after this be just one video, I think, but the second vehicle I bought will probably be a few videos at the very least. Well, anyways, without I guess further ado, I will show you what I got and kind of explain how it ended up happening. So here we go. So anyways, let's go to here, bid status, lots won, and here's what I've won. Come on, focus. 2010 Ford Flex and a 2013 Mini Cooper. Well, let's start off with the Flex, because that was the first thing I bought, obviously. Should be a little, oops, that's just, come on. Gotta click on the lot number. There we go. Alrighty. So, I wanted to start off with something easy, okay? I didn't want to get, buy something that was wrapped around a tree and try to fix it. I just wanted something that was fairly simple, in theory anyways. And I bought this largely sight unseen. The nearest Copart yards for me are up in the cities, especially that is a public that the public can buy on it. Since I live in Wisconsin, you have to go through a broker, and really, unless you're buying something you really really want, or you're buying more expensive vehicles, or you're buying quite a few vehicles, going through a broker, especially if you're just buying 1 or 2 year, is really expensive. Especially if you're buying cheaper vehicles, it's not worth it. So, anyways, these yards are about 2.5, 3 hours away, about 3 hours away. But so I wanted something simple the first time, especially. So this is the damage it's got. Basically, front corner. And in this particular case, it was actually the second vehicle I wanted. Had been thinking about buying on the same auction. There was actually a 2008 Buick Enclave CXL that I wanted, had basically exact same damage, other than this one here, the driver's airbag went off. On the Buick, it didn't. But because it only had 54,000 miles on the clock, it ended up selling, before fees, mind you, $6,300, which was, I thought, insane. So anyways, so again, let's just quick go through this. One, it's a nice red, and they call it, red vehicles are a good thing to get. They call it resale red for a reason. Red cars, trucks, SUVs, they sell. And as you can see, the only airbag that went off was the driver's. Again, I bought the sight unseen, and when I got in it, the first thing I did was grab the seatbelts and yank on them, and they moved. So the seatbelts weren't locked up or anything, although I don't know on these if they have that. I'm guessing, seeing as they started producing the Flex in 2009, I'm guessing they had them, if I had to guess, because they have the side airbags and the whatnot, so I'd assume they would have had it. But as you can see, largely the engine bay is intact. 133,000 miles basically, and yeah, that's the extent of the damage. I have a second part of the video where I went up and got it, doing a close walk around. I'm not going to do that again here with this video. That's what the next part of the video is for, or however that end up editing it. But basically, long story short, hood, fender, bumper, headlight, grill, airbag, wheel liner, horn, what else? Oh, fog light, Radiator, although the condenser's good, I did get it running. Charged the battery. Battery seems to be good. Started it up, and the AC blew cold. Basically, the bumper, and a bumper bar, the crash bar, wouldn't call it. Anyways, that's the majority. And radiator support, which actually ironically, might end up being the most expensive part I ended up buying for this thing. But anyways, with this particular vehicle, there's really no frame damage. There's a little dent on the side where the horn bolts to, but the frame rail itself isn't bent. It's straight, so on and whatnot. And then of course the tabs that hold the bumper bracket are bent in a bit, but again, you just straighten that out. No big deal. Didn't look like there's anything wrong with the suspension or steering. That looked all fine. In fact, it hit the rim. You can see some black marks, but it doesn't look like the wheel's bent. The tire doesn't look like it was cut or anything like that. So all that stuff was good. So I could tell, just even though I didn't get to inspect or nothing, I could tell that that it was in most likely nice shape. Anyways, moving along. So with this particular vehicle, my thought was, well, being that it's a 2010, there's quite a few of them that have been wrecked and parts are available. I didn't want to have to do paint work on this particular vehicle. I'm hoping that I already got a fender ordered in the same color. I'm working on getting a hood done the same color, and if I can't find a bumper in the same color, I think usually on eBay you can generally buy these things from a distributor who then paint them for you in the particular color your vehicle is. And it's not terribly expensive. And if I end up going that route, well, then I will. But so basically, this is basically replace parts and put it back together. Shouldn't be any, like I say, any framework. There shouldn't be any, panel beating. At least I don't want to be doing that. And again, no paint work. So this should be a fairly quick job. So anyways, yeah. So come bidding time. Actually, I think this had already gone through the auction once because it had a buy it now, which generally, from what my experience in watching Copart auctions, they don't have that until they've gone through an auction once or twice already. Because a lot of times the insurance companies say, well, we expect to get this much, and then it goes through and they're not happy with the high bid, so they reject it. And then they'll put it through again. Obviously, they lower their expectations, but they still want this amount, or at least, try to get that amount with the buy it now. In this particular case, the buy it now was $2,750. Well, I didn't click on it, of course. So anyways, come auction date, I was only bidding against, I think, just one other person. Ultimately, I ended up getting it for $2,350. I don't know why that's not focusing very good. There we go. So after Copart fees and whatnot, it ended up being basically a hair under $3,000. It was like $2,968 or $86 or whatever, something like that. So yeah. Well, anyways, so how does this involve the second car? Well, that night the day that I won this, that night, the city up in the Twin Cities, they have 2 Copart yards. I thought, well, let me look at the other one just for shits and giggles. I didn't plan on, potentially buying anything. So I thought, like I say, I'll just look. Well, that's when I saw the second vehicle. And the second vehicle, well, as you've obviously just seen here, was this Mini Cooper. Now, why would I buy a Mini Cooper? I don't even know why I even ended up clicking on it. Right? I have no idea why. No idea why I ended up clicking on it. I just clicked on it for some reason. I was just looking through the pictures real quick, and I was about to click off the pictures and move along the list. And let me click on here real quick. And the reason why I did a double take and ended up bidding on it was because of this. It's a 2013. Come on, focus. 10,187 miles. And with less than 48 hours to go, it was still at only $200. I'm like, come again? Let's focus again. So, okay. And I was like, well, let's look at the damage first. So, obviously, the first picture is, it hit this. And it says it runs and drives. Or, no, it says it just runs. They didn't try driving it because the front end's boogered up. But honestly, just looking at the pictures, the wheel faces the same direction as the driver's side, so that tells me the tie rod most likely isn't, tie rod and control arm aren't effed up, or if they are, it's only a little bit, which, I mean, fine, I'll still replace that if they are, but it tells me that it most likely everything's fine. Like I doubt the axle's busted, I doubt the transmission's busted or anything like that. They just don't attempt to drive it because of the way the front wheel looks. They just don't. But anyways, the hood would need to be replaced, of course. That little fender thingy would have to be replaced. The bumper looks like it's fine. God, this keeps going out of focus on the screen. It just need to be repainted. The door, the front edge of the door and the rear edge of the door is bashed in, so it'd be just cheaper just to replace the door. And then let me go through some pictures here real quick. The driver's side looks fine. Looks great, I should say. The back looks great. Then here you can see the damage. The quarter panel got bashed in. And while it's a large area that's, hit in, it's pretty shallow overall. And the fact that the quarter panel on these things are really simple. There's no body lines really per se. It's just a simple compound curve. I should be able to fix that dent, or big ass dent, but should be able to fix it without having to replace the quarter panel. At least I'll attempt to anyways. I think I can get it. It is a base model automatic, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. Like I say, it's only at 10,000 miles. None of the airbags went off, but it does have the, and you can see in here, you can see the strut tower looks fine. Looks like there might be a little piece of metal here that's bent. Because here's the headlight bolt right there, the tab, and there's one right there. Because you can see it matches the one over here. So there's really no damage to this upper frame rail area. And you can see I'm assuming that must be like a plastic or something. That doesn't, maybe it is metal, who knows. That doesn't look like it's bent at all or broken or anything like that. So that's when I was looking at this. I was like, I don't think it's that bad. Of course, again, that was a picture. When I saw that, I was like, holy cow. And of course, it does have the sunroof in it, the big one, or the panoramic roof, or whatever you want to call it. So anyways, with about 36 hours left to go, it was only at $200, which is your local scrappers. That's what they pay. They pay about $175 to $200. So I was like, okay, I'll just watch it. Well, so fast forward 24 hours. It's the night before the auction. It's the night before I go up to go get the Ford Flex. And it was still at just $200. So I put in $1,000 just to see, if I didn't have a chance to get it. Well, I ended up not only getting it, but it only went up $25. I put in $1,000. I got the winning bid at $225. The next morning I get up expecting, maybe I lost my bid now. Nope, I get up. Now someone else finally bid. It was up to $550, so I still had it. And I knew at $1,000 there's no way I was going to get it for $1,000. So I ended up putting the exact same bid I won the Ford Flex for. I put in $2,350. And I was like, if I get it, great. If not, well, to be expected. Well, it wasn't to be expected. Not only, when I went up to go get the Ford Flex, on the way back, I stopped at a Burger King just outside the cities. And when I was going through the drive-thru, I noticed I'd gotten a notification from Copart saying I won. And not only did I win it, I won it for a grand total of just, gosh darn it, why don't you focus? $1,550. And if I pay by cashier's check, which I already got, which I got to take on Monday to go pick up, it'll be just $2,068. Not that $2,100. Jeez, stop. Must be the computer screen monkeying with my phone. Anyways, I was like, for basically $2,000, I got a 2013 Mini Cooper with just 10,000 miles on it. And like I say, that damage doesn't look that bad. I mean, you fix the quarter panel, you replace the door, hood, the fender piece, the wheel and tire, the headlight, and just repaint the bumper and the quarter panel, then the wheel, the two fender flares on the passenger side. And that looks like it may be it. Maybe you have to replace a couple suspension pieces. Maybe a control arm and tire ought to have to be replaced. But I couldn't imagine it being any... Hell, even if you had to replace the strut and the lower control arm. So what? Hell, even if the transmission was somehow shot, I mean, I couldn't imagine it costing that much. I mean, they made these things in that body style for like a decade or more. I mean, even if I had to get another transmission, I'd get a rebuilt one because if you got a used one, it'd have 100,000 miles, and why put a 100,000 mile transmission in a 10,000 mile car? I would get a remanufactured one. But even if I had to put a transmission in the damn thing, still, I mean, it books out at, according to them, at almost 15,000. Even if I didn't get anywhere near that, even if I only got, say, 10, 11, let's just say $11,000, I would still be making $5,000-$6,000 off of it, provided I get it fixed fairly decent. So, anyway, so yeah, long story short, I got home with the Flex the other day, a day and a half ago, and now, like I said, I went to the bank. I got a check ready to get this thing on Monday. So, yeah, expect a video here. Well, expect this one, obviously, right away. But, I mean, the first video will be of the Ford. And at the very least, I'll do a video of the disassembly and at least maybe part of the reassembly. And then the rest would be maybe final assembly and selling it, and then with, all the totals. So, all in all, I just purchased 2 vehicles for a grand total of basically $5,000 even, hair over when it's all said and done. And of course, that obviously doesn't count my gas. It was basically 2 tanks of gas to go get that Flex. But then again, I did take a extra long detour getting home. But, so figure, yeah, I got $5,000 invested in 2 vehicles, and figure maybe $5,000 or so invested in fixing both of them. At least that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping around $2,000 to $2,500 to fix both. Each of them. So figure I'd have about 10 grand. I'm hoping for around $10,000 between parts and registration and whatnot. Yeah, give or take a few bucks, around 10,000. So, having said that, I think this is a good place to leave it off because we're already at 17 minutes. Holy crap, time is flying. But yeah, expect some. Well, good. Hopefully, Copart videos here come up soon. And if these both turn out successful, which I think they should, I mean, even if that Cooper, even if there was something stupidly wrong with it where it wasn't worth fixing, I mean, parts alone, it's worth a heck of a lot more than $2,000. So I can't really lose on this deal. So, yeah, without anything else and without making this any longer, I think that's really about it. So, see you guys soon.